How often do you come across turnaround stories in the consumption space? It's generally believed that while investing in turnaround companies could be risky, but the upside is that it could turn out to be multi-bagger. Does Alder have any turnaround story in its portfolio as on today?
There's a saying where turnarounds seldom turn around, right? And the reason for that is that while you might see many businesses going through adverse cycles, some of these, and let me focus on the consumption side of it. Let's say that you're buying a business which is brand driven, right? And it goes through an adverse cycle and it's lost its customers. Typically, brand businesses lose their customers not one fine day in the morning. It could happen, like in the case of Nestle, where the Maggie incident happened and suddenly you had half the people not consuming Maggie, but today it's back again to the square one of where it had in terms of market share. But in many other instances, brands don't necessarily lose their customers overnight. They lose it over 4 or 5 years and slowly and steadily, because certain things that the management or the business has not done for the customers in terms of value or in terms of innovation or in terms of packaging, or it could be any other reasons, right? We generally don't find, we call it as sinking brands, right? And then suddenly one fine day an event happens and the brand starts doing extremely well, right? It's rare. Do we try to seek those brands? I don't think so, right? Because just like how it takes a slow momentum for things to collapse, it was equally slow on the upside. To win a customer, you can't just win him overnight. If you've lost him, like for instance, I give a good example. Everyone knew what Nirma was, right? But they've lost a set of customers in a big way. And then a new guy came in, Gari, which actually did far more better. And lever is where it is, but the bottom space has been eaten away and lost by a few players. But it takes time. And the point is that consumption businesses, what we've traditionally seen is turnarounds typically happen very slowly in case of brands, very slowly in case of business that are switching cost. Production advantages might have a little bit of swings up and down. And similarly in case of network effect businesses, right? So we don't, first of all, seek businesses which are in destitute first. The second assumption that you can create a multi-bagger only when the business is in destitute is a fallacy, right? That's not true. Let me give you an example. We had bought Dr. Lal Path Labs post IPO after it went up at a very crazy level, and then people shot it down saying, well, this business has got no pricing power, right? And people like thyrocad and Reliance at that time came and said that they're going to get into diagnostics. So Reliance is going to come, all the private equity guys in the world are going to come and they're going to set up diagnostic labs, like they're going to set up fruits and vegetable stalls right next to each other, and everything is going to crash, burn and die. For us, it was a business of trust. You can't win a customer's trust by simply setting up shops right next to each other, right? You need to do a lot more things to build a trust, right? And a customer is not seeking cheap value, he's seeking quality when he's going in for a test. So if his doctor says you spend 2,000, 3,000 rupees more for a better test, he will do it, right? So that trust is very important. And if you bought this at that particular moment and you waited, right? And this is definitely a mid cap at that stage, and today has become a slightly a large cap, right? It has delivered 5 times returns in the last 4 years, right? Now, you didn't need to do buying a stressful business. You could have bought one. You could have bought maybe thyrocad. It's not that thyrocad did not do very well. Thyrocad also did very well, but you still had a stock that you owned, slept well at night, and still deliver the returns that you wanted. So multi-baggers can come at every walk of life. It does not have to be from a stress situation. It just have to be you got to make sure. See, multi-baggers at the end of the day, whether a business is great or whether a business is turning around, essentially what you're trying to say is that the business is doing well, right? So why don't you just focus on which business is actually doing well, rather than priming it, this might happen and that might happen. So our essential focus is that we don't mind seeking multi-baggers over long run. It's patience which delivers, and see great businesses.